So now that we're nearing the halfway point of the 2025 F1 season, and the standings are starting to take shape, I wanted to take a step back and reflect on where Red Bull was a year ago, and where I think they should go from here. As of recording this video, just after the Canadian Grand Prix, Max Verstappen is sitting 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, Yuki Tsunoda is sitting 15th, and Red Bull is currently 3rd in the Constructor. Max has delivered on yet again another strong performance in Canada, but Yuki had a rough weekend, made worse by a 10-place grid penalty for failing to follow red flag procedures. That said, I don't think it's fair to lay all the team's struggles at Yuki's feet, and we'll discuss more about that later. So to begin, I wanted to talk about the technical direction of Red Bull. Let's start with the RB21. It's been widely reported that the 2025 car isn't a major departure from last year's RB20, and that's not surprising, as this year is the first season without Adrian Newey leading the design. Even if he had early input, his mid-season departure in 2024 likely limited his overall impact. As for what we've seen, particularly in Yuki's struggles and Max's early season complaints, are issues that echo what both Verstappen and Perez pointed out last year, those being inconsistent grip on corner entry, instability through the corner, and excessive tire wear. Part of that problem being is that the car isn't matching what Red Bull's simulators and wind tunnel data predicted. However, the new front wing introduced at Imola was a big step forward, but clearly more development time is needed before both drivers can fully trust the car. Now let's get into some of the team dynamics, because Red Bull hasn't just faced technical issues. First is Adrian Newey. His departure mid-2024 was a seismic shift for the team. Losing someone of his stature and expertise disrupts development routines, and it will take time to replace the level of intuition and experience he brought to every single design. Then there's Christian Horner. Many point to his legal troubles last season as a source of division. However, I'd argue that those fractures were already there and quietly building. And despite the noise, Horner's position seems secure, as he has full backing of the Red Bull ownership. Helmut Marko, on the other hand, is another story. His role has been under scrutiny for some time, and while Horner has taken most of the public heat for Red Bull's driver drama, the reality is Marko has been the main voice of the instability. He pushed out Perez, Ricciardo, and even Liam Lawson, and he's been openly critical of Yuki Tsunoda this year. Marko has an incredible eye for talent, no doubt, but his influence over the driver decisions may now be doing him more harm than good. I believe that kind of decision making should be in Horner's hands, especially since he's the one that's advocating for stability alongside with Verstappen. There are even rumors that Marko is considering retirement, with Sebastian Vettel being considered as a potential successor. Nothing is confirmed yet, but it's a storyline I'll be keeping my eye on. There was one more key loss, and that was in Jonathan Wheatley. Since his exit, Red Bull has dropped from being the fastest pit crew on the grid to 4th behind Sauber, where Wheatley is now team principal. While their stops are still solid, they've lost that razor-sharp edge that often made the difference in tight races. It'll take time for Gianpiero Lambiase, also known as GP, now head of racing, to get the pit crew back to its peak. Now let's look ahead. We're just 14 races away from the new 2026 regulations, which represents the biggest opportunity for a reset in years. I think Red Bull is in a great position to capitalize on this. Unlike teams like McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes, who've been focused on short-term gains, Red Bull hasn't needed to drastically upgrade their car year to year. That's freed them up to put more time and money into their 2026 project. If Red Bull plays this right and catches the rest of the grid off guard, they could come out of the gates in 2026 with a car that redefines the field once again. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and how do you think Red Bull has done this season? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.